Attention, this is a live broadcast of the Victory Parade from Moscow's Red Square. Parade under the state flag of the Russian Federation and the banner of victory. Attention. Present arms, face left. The state flag of the Russian Federation and the victory banner are brought onto Red Square. The assault flag raised by the soldiers of the 150th Idritskoye Rifle Division over the dome of the Reichstag building marked the long-awaited victory of the Soviet people in the Great Patriotic War. Through all these years, the sacred Scarlet Banner has remained a symbol of our motherland's courage, unbreakable resilience, and heroism. Today, the state flag of the Russian Federation and the victory banner are carried across Red Square by the finest servicemen of the honor guard of the 154th Preobrazhensky Independent Commandant's Regiment, Junior Lieutenant Dmitry Monastryov and Junior Sergeant Alexei Zhivayev. Leading the flag-bearing units are Captain Kirill Gorshinov and Lieutenant Anton Mikhailov. Parade, rest. Parade, attention. Left face, present arms. The military parade commemorating the 81st anniversary of the Great Victory is reviewed by Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, Andrei Belousov. Commanding the parade is the Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Ground Forces, Hero of the Russian Federation, Colonel General Andrei Mordvichov. Comrade, Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, troops of Moscow garrison, at the parade to commemorate the 81st anniversary of the Great Patriotic War are foreign. The commander of the parade, Colonel General Mordvichov. The review of the parade formations of the Moscow garrison begins. Minister of Defense Andrei Belousov proceeds to greet the parade formations of the Combined Arms Academy of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. Veterans of the Special Military Operation, the Korean People's Army, and the Zhukovsky-Gagarin Air Force Academy.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Greetings, comrades! Greetings, Comrade Minister of Defense. Congratulations on the 81st anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. Servicemen of the armed forces of the Russian Federation demonstrate the highest level of skill and combat training, successfully master sophisticated modern weaponry, and operate effectively in the challenging conditions of the special military operation. Soldiers and officers carry out their assigned missions with honor, drawing on the experience of those who came before them and building on their finest traditions.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Greetings, comrades!
Поздравляю вас с 81-й
Congratulations on the 81st anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. The Minister of Defense congratulates the parade formations of the Nahimov Higher Naval Engineering School, the Peter the Great Military Academy of the Strategic Missile Forces, and the Rizan Guards Higher Airborne Command School.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Greetings, comrades.
Поздравляю вас!
Congratulations on the 81st anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. The Minister of Defense salutes the parade formations of the Makarov Pacific Higher Naval School, the Serpahov branch of the Peter the Great Academy, and the Kremlin Cadets. The military educational institutions of the Russian Army play a key role in training highly professional officers devoted to their duty to defend the fatherland.
Здравствуйте, товарищи!
Greetings, comrades.
Поздравляю вас!
Congratulations on the 81st anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. Today, more than 1,000 veterans of the special military operation march across Red Square. Defense Minister Andrei Belousov has completed his review of the troops and proceeds to the central stand to report to the President of the Russian Federation, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, troops of the Moscow garrison, for the parade to celebrate the 81st anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War are ready. Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, Belousov. At ease.
Дорогие граждане России,
Citizens of Russia,
ветераны,
veterans,
товарищи солдаты и матросы,
comrade soldiers and sailors, sergeants and sergeant majors, midshipmen and warrant officers, comrade officers, generals and admirals, soldiers and commanders, participants in the special military operation, guests,
Поздравляю вас с
I
Днем Победы.
congratulate you on the Victory Day, on our holy, sacred, and most important holiday. We celebrate it with a sense of pride and love for our country, with understanding of our common duty to defend the interests and the future of our motherland. We mark it with the gratitude of true sons of the great generation of victors. We honor the legacy left by the soldiers of victory. The care of the fatherland unites our entire country, the people of Russia, and preserving the memory of the events of the Great Patriotic War, of its true history, of its true heroes, is a matter of honor for us. We will always remember the heroic deeds of the Soviet people, because Soviet people made the decisive contribution to defeating Nazism. The Soviet people saved their country and saved the world. They put an end to the total evil, and it brought the sovereignty to those states that surrendered to the Nazi Germany and turned into accomplices of its crimes. Our soldiers suffered huge losses, made huge sacrifices in the name of freedom and dignity of the peoples of Europe. It has become a model of heroism and courage, of fortitude and humanity, and it brought to the Soviet people the great honor of the great victory. Friends, June 22nd of 1941 is one of the most tragic days of our history. This year, we are going to mark 85th anniversary of the beginning of the Great Patriotic War. The Nazi soldiers attacked the Soviet Union. They planned to seize the country, to seize its wealth, to destroy its culture, its historic legacy, and to destroy and enslave and genocide of the multi-ethnic Soviet people, of all the Soviet peoples, of all the ethnic groups of the Soviet Union. And to implement these criminal plans, they gathered forces throughout Europe. Seemingly, the Nazi strategists took everything into consideration but one thing, what we call Russian character and the strength of the spirit and of the will of the Soviet people. And these qualities are manifested in the most challenging times for the motherland. Our people stood its ground in front of the enemy, and they proved that being faithful to one's motherland is the highest degree of righteousness that can bring people together. We remember heroic deeds of the soldiers, of the sailors, of the partisans, of the underground movement and resistance fighters, of the efforts by the home front, of the efforts of the farmers, because the front lines and the home front stood together. True patriotism, true sacrifice of the people brought it above the enemy. It made it stronger and made the faith in the ultimate victory stronger as well. And we had this victory, we won this victory, and every family remembers this. And this memory is in the hearts of our children, of our grandchildren, and we bow down to those who fell during those battles, those who were killed in occupation or in camps, who were killed in besieged Leningrad and other cities and towns. We bow down to everyone who gave their life for the motherland, for Russia. We bow down to the sons and daughters, to the fathers and mothers, to the grandfathers, great-grandfathers, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, close ones, and friends. Let us now observe a moment of silence.
Дорогие друзья, великий
Friends,
подвиг поколения победителей
the great heroic deeds of the generation of victors inspires the soldiers who are fulfilling the missions of the special military operation. They stand against the aggressive force that is being armed by the entire NATO bloc. And in spite of these, our heroes continue to move forward. Next to our soldiers, there are workers, engineers, scientists, inventors. They continue the traditions of those who came before them. They create advanced, unique weapons, and they launch their production en masse. But no matter how the weapons are changing, how the tactics are changing, one thing remains unchanged. The fate of the country is done by its citizens, by the soldiers, by the workers, by the farmers, by the weapon makers, by the conflict correspondents, by doctors and by teachers, by artists and by priests, volunteers and entrepreneurs, all the citizens of Russia. And our success is in our moral strength, in our courage, in our unity, in our ability to withstand everything, to overcome any challenges. We share one common destiny, and everyone makes their personal contribution to the victory, which is gained both at the front lines and at the home front. I believe that our cause is just. We stand together. The victory has always been and will always be ours. Glory to the victorious nation. Glory to the veterans. Glory to the armed forces of Russia. Happy holiday. Happy Victory Day. Hurrah! Today, on the day of the great victory, servicemen of the armed forces of the Russian Federation are on combat duty, protecting the land, air, and maritime borders of our motherland. The personnel of the Joint Group of Forces are carrying out combat missions in the zone of the Special Military Operation.
На полигоне подразделение морской пехоты отрабатывает действия
The Marines are working on the assault and seizing the command posts of the enemy using specialized vehicles and equipment.
Наблюдаю.
Успешные действия гвардейского соединения группировки
Successful
войск
actions by the Central Group of Forces in the Special Military Operation Zone is attained by daily training with tank crews in cooperation with the support vehicles Terminator.
Орудию. Цель 12.
2087.
При поддержке
With
штурмовых
the
групп и
support of the
уничтожении
assault
огневых
crews
средств
and
подразделения ракетных войск и
destruction
артиллерии
of
применяют
the
современные
targets,
мобильные
the modern
артиллерийские
artillery
системы на
is
колесной
used
базе
modern
Гиацинт
systems
К и
called
Мальва,
Gyatsin
а
K,
также
Malva,
реактивные
and
системы залпового
also
огня Торнадо-С.
multiple fire systems, Tornado S and Uragan.
С Днем Победы! Память о
Happy
подвиге наших
Victory
предков
Day
– это
to
наше
commemorate
богатство
the
и
heroic
опора.
deeds of our
В этот день мы склоняем
predecessors
головы
is our
перед
wealth,
подвигом
our
русского народа
richness.
и советского
Today we bow
солдата.
down to the heroic deeds of the Soviet people and Soviet soldiers.
Военнослужащие воздушно-десантных
Personnel
войск
of the
отрабатывают
airborne
совместные
forces are
действия
working on
расчета
the joint
беспилотного
actions
летательного
with the
разведывательного
unmanned
аппарата и
vehicles
экипажа
crews
боевой машины десанта
and,
ПМД-4М по огневому поражению опорного пункта.
battle vehicles to
Боевой путь прославленной
attack the
дивизии
command
с
posts.
честью продолжают внуки и правнуки бойцов Великой
Glorious
Отечественной
legacies
войны.
continued by the soldiers and troops in the Special Military Operation Zone. On behalf of the 150th Guards Idritska Division, I would like to congratulate you on the great holiday, on the Victory Day.
Широкое применение дронов
The
в
wide
ходе
use
специальной
of,
военной операции потребовало создания нового
and
рода
aerial vehicles
войск
brought about
беспилотных
the new
систем,
type of
оснащенных
forces,
современными
unmanned
типами
vehicles, forces
беспилотных
that is
летательных
equipped with
аппаратов.
state-of-the-art
Для
unmanned
поддержки
aerial
штурмовых
vehicles
групп
to
боевой
support
расчет
the assault
запускает
crews.
ударный беспилотник
The
самолетного типа «Молния-2».
unmanned crew is
Военнослужащими
launching
используются
Molnia 2
разведывательные и ударные
vehicle.
беспилотные
It's also
летательные
using
аппараты
reconnaissance
для уничтожения живой
and
силы и
striking
техники.
vehicles
С целью
to
поражения
destroy
бронетехники
vehicles and to kill
осуществляется
the enemy
запуск
forces.
разведывательного комплекса
And
«Зала»
now we can
и
see they are
поражающего
launching
боеприпаса
Zala
«Ланцет».
unmanned vehicle and Landsat unmanned vehicle.
С командного пункта объединенной
the
группировки
command
войск ведется
post
непрерывное
of the
управление войсками
joint
в зоне специальной
Group of
военной
forces,
операции.
the control of the troops in the Special Military Operation Zone is continuing at all times. For the reconnaissance of the enemy territory, long-haul unmanned aerial vehicles are used that are called Inahodits.
Боевые расчеты Герань-2 и
The
Герань-5
crews of
разрабатывают
Garan
подготовку
2
и
and Garan
запуск
5 are
беспилотных
preparing
летательных
for the
аппаратов с
launch
целью
of the unmanned
поражения
aerial
военных
vehicles
объектов,
to strike
находящихся в
enemy
глубоком
sites and enemy targets far behind the front lines. On this day, our crews are carrying out combat missions, and we would like to congratulate the veterans and all the citizens of our country on the day of the great victory. Pilots of the unmanned aerial vehicles division are controlling the airspace, and they are standing to protect the aerial borders of our motherland. The crews of the Kinjal missile complexes are on duty today. They're equipped with the hypersonic missiles that can defeat any air defense system and yield maximum damage. The fifth generation fighter jet Su-57, one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. It is created for aerial domination and to strike ground targets, which makes it a universal tool in the modern combat conditions.
Расчет радиотехнического узла контроля
The
космического
crew
пространства
of the
ведет поиск и
radio
сопровождение
reconnaissance
космических объектов,
division
обеспечивая целеуказания для средств
monitoring
противоракетной
the
обороны.
outer space to ensure the goals, to look for the goals of the missile defense. The Peresvet battle complex is a unique weapon based on the modern physical principles. It can destroy satellites and aerial vehicles, including cruise missiles in the atmosphere.
Зенитная ракетная система
Air defense system S-500 Prometheus has a unique capability of intercepting ballistic and aerodynamic targets high in the air. Radio location station Voronezh DM ensures control of the most dangerous directions around the clock. Air defense complex S-350 VTS can efficiently counteract various types of aerial targets. On behalf of the crew of our air defense unit, I would like to congratulate you on the holiday of the great victory. The Russian Federation Navy is defending and ensuring security of the maritime borders of the country and ensures the presence of Russia in the global oceans. Frigate Admiral Gorshkov is one of the service vessels that can carry out various tasks to strike the maritime targets and ground targets with long-range, high-precision missiles. Nuclear submarine armed with cruise missiles or Hungalis is a submarine that can carry out various combat missions, both close range and long range. The Russian Federation possesses the entire range of the nuclear deterrence means that ensures the safety of the country and can strike, still a response strike. And the foundation of the strategic forces of Russia is the Yars complexes that can be placed in various regions of the country and put on combat duty. Hypersonic Complex Avangard is a unique and invincible system that can withstand any missile defense systems of the enemy. Strategic aircraft 260 is used to launch the state-of-the-art strategic weapons. On behalf of our crew of our Tu-160 plane, I would like to congratulate everyone on the day of the great victory. Submarine Knyaz Vladimir, Count Vladimir, is part of the maritime strategic forces that can deal a nuclear strike against the essential and vital targets in the enemy territory. On behalf of our crew, I would like to congratulate everyone on the day of the great victory. We are proud of our victory. I'd like to bow down to the frontline veterans and home front veterans. Parade. Attention.
Торжественному маршу!
Forward march.
Побатальонно!
Form battalions.
Первый батальон прямо.
First battalion forward march, and the rest right face.
На плей. Чё?
Present arms.
Равнение направо. Шагом.
Right face.
Марш!
Forward march. Leading the ceremonial march is the parade commander, hero of the Russian Federation, Colonel General Andrei Mordvichov. Opening the parade are cadets of the Institute of Military Conductors of the Prince Alexander Nevsky Military University. Commanding the parade formation is Colonel Sergei Vov. The drummers set the rhythm and pace for the rest of the parade formations. Marching past the stands are the flag groups carrying the state flag of the Russian Federation, the banner of the Russian Armed Forces, and the victory banner. The flag group is escorted by the honor guard representing the three branches of the armed forces: the ground forces, the airspace forces, and the Navy, all from the 154th Preobrazhensky Independent Commandant's Regiment. This year, the Honor Guard of the Russia marks its 70th anniversary. Marching in formation are students of the Combined Arms Academy of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. The parade formation is led by Lieutenant General-elect Sekov. The Academy is the principal training center for tactical level commanders. Its student body is made up primarily of officers who have taken part in the special military operation. Among them are heroes of the Russian Federation Alexander Kuznetsov, Mikhail Martsev, and Nikita Palaznik. Now entering Red Square are veterans of the special military operation. Leading the formations are heroes of the Russian Federation, Colonels Mirlan Jumagali and Zorikto Angarhaev. Marching proudly under their battle banners are 17 heroes of the Russian Federation and 83 recipients of the Order of Courage, awarded for exceptional bravery and valor. Making their debut in the parade today, servicemen of the unmanned systems troops march shoulder to shoulder with their comrades in arms. Among them is hero of Russia, Senior Lieutenant Maxim Potashev. Now crossing Red Square is the parade formation of the Korean People's Army, commanded by Senior Colonel Chae Young-hun. Fighting shoulder to shoulder with Russian troops, the soldiers of the Korean People's Army made a major contribution to the liberation of the Kursk region from neo-Nazi invaders, demonstrating extraordinary heroism, selflessness, and courage. On the march are the officers and cadets of the Zhukovsky-Gagarin Air Force Academy. Leading the parade formation is the head of the academy, Colonel General Gennady Zibrov. The academy trains elite officers for aviation and space exploration, along with specialists for the unmanned systems troops. The academy's graduates have piloted nearly every type of Soviet and Russian aircraft and have always formed the core of the cosmonaut corps. Marching along Red Square are the future officers of the Russian Navy. The honor of opening their procession goes to the cadets of the Higher Naval Engineering School. Commanding the parade formation is the head of the school, Rear Admiral Andrei Klemenko. The school is Russia's leading naval engineering educational institution. Next to join the parade are the cadets of the Admiral Makarov Pacific Higher Naval School. Leading the unit is Colonel Mikhail Bezgin. Over 20,000 graduates of the school have served in all fleets of our country. Now approaching are the parade formations of the Peter the Great Strategic Missile Forces Military Academy and its Serpahov branch. At the head of the formation is Major General Farid Chigmardanov. The Academy is a premier educational institution and a major research center in military and technical sciences, shaping the development and operation of strategic missile weapons. On the march are the cadets of the Army General Margalov Ryazan Guards Higher Airborne Command School. Leading the parade formation is the school's principal, Colonel Oleg Ponomarev. This formation includes 90 cadets decorated with state honors for their service during the special military operation. Among them is Hero of Russia, Sergeant Timofey Matveyev. The school's alumni have always been and remain a shining example of selfless service to the motherland. 215 airborne officers have been awarded the nation's highest honor, the title of Hero of the Soviet Union or Hero of the Russian Federation. Bringing the marching part of the parade to a close are the cadets of the Moscow Higher Combined Arms Command School. Leading the formation is the school's principal, Major General Roman Binyukov. Through the ultimate sacrifice of its cadets, the school has forever etched its name into the history of the Great Patriotic War. In the harrowing year 1941, alongside the other defenders of Moscow, the Kremlin cadets became the unbreakable wall against the fascist hordes, laying the foundation for our victory. Since its inception, the school has remained an iconic institution for the country's armed forces. The institution launched the military careers of many renowned commanders and senior military leaders. Today, proudly remaining one of Russia's finest military educational institutions, the school carries on its glorious traditions of training commanders for the ground forces. In the sky, we see the Cuban diamond formation performed by the renowned aerobatic teams Russian Knights and Swifts, flying Su-30 and MiG-29 fighter jets. Leading the group is Colonel Andrei Alexeyev. In keeping with tradition, the parade formation is concluded by 6 Su-25 attack aircraft, painting the skies above the capital in the colors of the national flag of the Russian Federation. Leading the formation is Lieutenant Colonel Vladimir Mordasov. Music for the parade was performed by the combined military band of the Moscow garrison, conducted by the chief military conductor, honored artist of Russia, Major General Timofey Mayakin. The military band is leaving Red Square. The victory parade is over. Long live the 81st anniversary of the great victory. Glory to the veterans of the Great Patriotic War. We congratulate all the people of Russia with this great holiday.
Вам просили, только здоровья, дай Бог здоровья.